Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live edition of the Jeep Life Podcast. Jim and Terry, Breaky Bill,
Jetty Jason.
Jetty Jason.
We're going to stick with that one because otherwise you fumble around trying to figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And we can't have weird acronyms.
Yeah, well, yeah. Maybe we'll come up with one. We'll come up with something else. But right now we'll go with that.
Chief Jason.
Mm-mm. Nope.
All right. Well, we'll move on then.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Oh, what's up, Troy? Troy's beating out Mike consistently. Oh, there we go.
I did that.
There's always one.
See, it can't be me because I didn't log on yet.
What's up, Scott? You got it figured out over there now?
Yep.
All right.
Tech Pro right here.
Tech Bro.
You wouldn't know it.
Tech something.
Uh-huh.
All right. Everything's recording. Everything's on.
Should do be. So what do you think it is?
What's up, Blake? Yeah, we're back and kind of in a regular format. We've got 3 weeks in a row of hitting it hard, and I've got 2 episodes in the can. We're good.
Keeping it alive.
Yeah. Oh, look at there he is. What's up, Mike? It's so good. I mean, last week was awesome. There was tons of people on here. What are you doing? Are you having a seizure over there?
No, I'm confused, man.
Uh.
There's racing on, and I'm not watching it.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, at KOH?
KOH is
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm confused because I didn't think it was... I thought it was next weekend.
No, there's some stuff going on this.
Well, it says race 2.
Something going
Sorry,
down.
guys. Sorry.
Right.
Think go fast vehicles makes just like shiny thing.
Yeah, I've been having my, feeling left out, FOMO.
Oh yeah, you have no idea.
Yeah.
This
yeah,
past month of people posting
Yeah.
hey, prepping for KOH, prepping for KOH, prep. I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to go.
Yeah, we were supposed to.
I don't even want to go for the week of racing. I want to go for the week before that everyone's
Right, yeah.
out there pre-running,
Yeah.
having a good old time.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, the race itself sucks.
It's not.
Because you can't
really see where it-
you can go out to the course
Roll.
and see
Okay.
see this much
Yeah.
or the minute
Right.
little small part of a race that is 400 some miles long or something.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
you get to see 45
Right.
feet of it.
It's like going to a PGA golf thing. It's like, okay, I'm sitting on the front end of one.
It's like going to an
It's like,
F1 race.
Yeah.
oh, they got 6 hours or 4 hours of play. I'm
Yep.
like, I'm gonna watch. Oh, they teed off, and that's all I saw.
Or an
There's
F1
so
race.
much else going on. It's the same principle.
Mm-hmm.
It is frustrating. I mean, you appreciate it for what you see. I used
Yeah.
to watch and participate in a lot of motocross, same thing. But motocross, at least, it's confined enough. You can, if you got a vantage point,
Yeah.
you can see a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
A big race like that, yeah, not really.
No.
Not gonna happen.
No. I'm with you. So, I want to be out of KOH, and I didn't make it this year. So, maybe next year.
Yeah.
Or the year after.
I was
Or the year after.
kind of hoping that we would go, but it was, because
It's tough.
we're a vendor, and we were hoping maybe next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. See if the ROI is worth it.
It's a weird year.
Don't make it a
man.
metric, Terry.
It has to be. Some
Everything
things
has
have
to be a metric.
Yeah.
How about a metric of fun?
All right,
a
everybody.
metric ton of fun.
Share it out. See if we can get a few more people on here before we hit the go button.
We have a go button.
We have a go button. I don't even know where my go button box
What
is.
happened, dude? You took shit home and you haven't
No,
brought it back yet.
No, that,
It's in a bag somewhere.
no, I never took that home, but I don't know where it is.
I don't know.
It's
Is it
so
in a
good.
drawer
I
somewhere
don't
over there?
know. It could be.
Is it in your drawers?
I don't have anything there.
If he starts scratching, all of a sudden three
It
weird sound effects start playing.
Well, no.
We'll know.
It's like, dude.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's
Let's rock this
Is
out.
there anything we need to do before we hit go?
I don't think so.
It's
All right, let's just hit go.
It's 8:08.
See what
We're
happens.
late.
8:08, and we are late.
Yep.
That's
Well, hey, everyone, and welcome to the Jeep Live podcast. We are proudly presented by Armorlight, the toughest flooring on the trail. Get out and see them at many of the shows this year and check it out, but also, more importantly, get it in your rig. Exclusive Armorlight discount available for the Jeep Live podcast and our listeners. Jeep Live Podcast 10. Get you a complete Armorlight system at goarmorlight.com. Our thanks again to them for sponsoring this episode. I'm Jeep and Terry, and I'm joined.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I am going to put in a petition right now.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
This is going to become the Two Jeeps and a Bronco podcast.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here
And-
we go. Here
and
we
You
go.
know, we were teasing earlier, but there he crossed it over.
Terry crossed the line when he brought this Bronco,
Bronco bro.
bringing down my property value by
Yes.
parking it in my driveway. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, Bronk and Terry here.
Bronk and Terry in the house.
Trader Terry.
Trader Terry.
Well, if Dr. Don will hurry up on mine, I'll be back in
All right,
Jeep and Terry.
So really, we should be poking at him.
yeah.
Hey.
No, it's good, and I'm still Jeep and Terry, and every day I'm reminded that I'm Jeep and
That
Terry.
you're not.
He
That
gets
you're
so-
the not quite jeeping today, Terry.
He gets
That's
so
true.
defensive so quick.
Oh,
I know,
I
but
get
it's
spun
okay.
up.
I would too.
I'm getting
It'd
spun
be
up.
like, hey, I borrowed somebody's Bronco. It's kind of cool. It's like, oh no.
Well, hey, everybody, it's been a great episode. I appreciate you tuning in.
And the
And
guy
so-
the guy that produces all this is going to leave now, so we're screwed. And this is
All
the
right,
end of the
so
Jeep Life
Bill and
podcast.
I will be talking through the rest.
I'll cut it all in post. It doesn't. Well, Breaking Billy and Jetty Jason have joined us again in the studio, and it's awesome. It's just great to be back in the studio. We've done it 3 weeks in a row now, and it's great. And if you've been here for
Two of the three.
two of the
Two
three,
of the three.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you guys covered something off, and
we might have to
And
start
last
paying
week-
you. I mean, you might have to start paying us to be here.
Yeah.
That's,
Paying
that's how
us.
this
Is
works.
that sort of like it's
Yeah.
like joining a fraternity?
That's
Yep.
right.
You
It's-
got to
Okay, scum,
pay your
get down
dues.
and pump.
pay your dues.
yeah,
Scrub
but-
my floor.
Pay your dues.
That's right.
We do need the carpet vacuumed in here, by the way.
Yeah, there's some work that needs to be done in the studio
I
for
see.
sure. I am glad to be here. I have done very little jeeping.
Oh,
per se.
I think I can take care of all of that for everyone at this table.
I bet you can. Lexi
Yes.
has decided she knows her accent color for her Jeep,
Okay.
and it is a kind of a bright blue. She based it off of the electric blue from
Like that blue?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep,
Like
that's
cold
it.
case blue.
Yeah.
It's
Ooh.
not Chief Blue, is it?
Nope.
It's not.
It's cold case blue.
Her idea, she got it from the 4xe blue,
Okay.
Ah.
and then went just a little bit brighter.
Okay. Cool.
So she started painting trim and details and
I
stuff.
like it.
So her what do you call that thing in the front? Grill inserts.
Grill
Yeah,
and
grill
the
inserts.
Yes, yes.
She started there,
Thing in
and
the front.
and man, It
Oh
it
my
looks.
God.
There's a lot of
really-
things in the front of a
Bumper
Jeep.
D-rings.
Yeah. What's that thing in the front?
Said to an avid Jeeper is like, oh, it's a long list.
I'm getting old, is what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But it looks great. I mean, it's.
I'm
was fun.
excited
There was a
for
little
her.
break in the weather,
Yeah.
and she was like, "I want to do it. I want to do something." So
There you
let's
go.
do it.
All right.
So,
And it's been awful weather.
oh, the weather's
here.
been horrible,
Terrible.
and so it was good that it. I love the fact that she chose that color as kind of a third
Yeah.
color because she's got that red rock crystal granite.
Yep.
Maroon.
Or maroon.
Yeah. With a gray hard top
Yep.
/ soft top.
Yep. Which is a very special option that came only on Saharas
On that year,
on that year.
on that particular year. So it was good. And so she wanted to have a nice little accent color, and she's not going to go too crazy with it, but
yeah.
it's a nice detail.
A little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere.
Yep. Got to start somewhere.
Yep.
So kudos to her. So that's about all we've done.
Cool.
I see Scott has multiple time sent something, but there was nothing in the post.
Oh.
20 stars, though.
I love it. I love it. All right, who's got some Jeeping stuff that they've done?
Oh, geez. How much time do we have? Because I get a long list this week.
Oh, what?
I came over to absorb some Jeeping by
Yeah.
proxy.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I did go to Liquid Iron Industries this week.
Oh, how was that?
Oh man, what a great shop and great people.
Cool.
It's a bigger shop in Philly, adjacent North New Jersey,
Okay.
Berlin or something like that.
Okay,
Scotty
yeah,
B
so
is
right
down
over
there.
the
Yeah. And
right over the river.
you know, it was great seeing all the beautiful builds
Yep.
came out there. You know, we saw some of them at the Philly Auto Show. So it was good to go down and see them and see Tim and the team. And Scott had his hands elbows deep in a Jeep while I was there. So it was pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got back onto the project of Jason's TJ
Oh yeah.
and doing some resto work on that. And then on Thursday, I developed a vibration in the rear end.
Oh, I know that vibration.
It's like it was weird, you know. It started on the acceleration side, and then it moved to the decel side, and then it was kind of all the time.
Yeah.
And then it kind of moved back to the decel side, and that was like when it would create the vibration. And I got out there last night as Jason was over a little bit later, and I was working on his Jeep, but I was like, I gotta, I'm just gonna go out and look at it.
Yep.
Get underneath of it, and I'm like, clunk, 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 clunk.
That was about the time
Yep.
I was out there with you because you were
And-
like, what should I do? I'm like,
I was like,
if you think you can knock this out, man,
Like,
I
I
think because
gotta-
today was all rain. And I'm like,
it just stopped raining
I
last
knew
night for
I've
like
seen-
Yeah, right.
half hour.
I've been out enough with, we've been out enough with Bill
Yep.
on trail runs, and I've seen you do
a U-joint.
a U-joint in like lickety split.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you're going to, I would just knock that out. And you're like, 20 minutes later, you texted me, and you're like, yeah.
I was like, it's done, and that
this is
U-joint
why
was
I
screwed.
can't have nice things.
This is why I
can't
can't.
have nice things.
I drive a really nice Jeep, but I can't keep a U-joint in it to save a life.
You are the killer of U joints and
Reaper
3/6s.
roasts.
Reaper. Well, actually, Reaper's gotten better.
But you keep a box, like you keep
I keep-
multiple
yes,
U-joints.
I keep
around.
2 1350s on
Yeah.
stock all the time, and then
Puddle should have been nicknamed something.
Yeah.
U joint.
Like if you come to
U-joint
Billy's
eater.
birthday
Yeah.
party, it's don't bring like a bottle of champagne or
bring
a
U-joints.
gift card. It's just bring U-joints.
Yeah.
Well, you can bring a gift card for U-joints.
Correct. AutoZone. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Like, here you go.
Yep.
That's
So-
awesome.
U-joint at 10:40 at night, and it was done by 11.
There you go.
And then I drove it to awesome skiing today
Nice.
in the rain.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Yuck.
No vibration.
No vibration. We were all
Back to the kickoff point here.
Yep. good
Yeah.
to go.
I'm
Awesome.
ready for no vibration back in my Jeep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah, I know you do. So you've got the TJ still in the garage.
TJ's in the garage up on jack stands. We're getting underneath of it, doing some rust
Yeah.
descaling
Yep.
and coating and rust encapsulator and converter and just going through the whole thing, making
Trying
sure.
to preserve it to
Yep.
where it's at
Yeah. And we installed a new bumper last night.
with a little bit of
A
modification.
little small modifications.
Oh yeah.
Some
So yeah.
interference, actually, surprisingly, with the design of
Yeah.
that. A little interference on the way that sway bar operates on
Yeah.
the front of the TJ.
So you picked up an Aries Bruiser rear bumper
Right.
for a song.
Yep. At
And
Carlisle.
then at Carlisle, PA Albury G Fest. And then we got him the Aries front
Oh.
bumper that matches.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
really nice mid-width
Mhm.
kind of bumper. And it just interfered with the sway bar
Oh.
oddly.
Had it on and bolted in.
And then it
And
just
then, Bill noticed this
I was
because
like-
we were just like looking at it like, okay, yeah, that's tight. Like that looks nice and clean. And it's pretty broad in the front because
Yep.
it's got like a winch mount, which I'm not pursuing at this moment in time for that particular vehicle. But, anyway, it's
creates
all
a
there.
nice bench.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Real
good.
nice bench.
Right.
Very
Lean-
good if you're
leaning
pulling in
bench.
and just want to sit there. Excellent.
Nice.
And then pointed this out, and I looked. I go, yeah, that's really kind of strange the way that.
It was
I
cut
would've-
out for the frame for the mounts of the
Yeah.
sway bar.
Yep.
It was
But-
cut out.
If the sway bar went up notably for
Any-
any really
Yep.
appreciable incline or whatever, it would bump that. And maybe it doesn't go that far.
But
in
I
that
think even just
normal
hitting a
use.
pothole in the road,
Could
Would
whack
hear
it.
it could
bend
whack it and
Yeah.
hear it, and it's
Yeah.
like clunk, clunk,
Yeah.
clunk.
And then you're going to
Yeah.
bend something or tear something up, and it's just dumb.
I don't think you really would, but you would hear it.
it was
Yeah.
worth.
It'd be annoying more than anything.
It was
So we-
worth a few buzzes on the old
Yep.
cutoff wheel.
We pulled it back off, buzzed it, gave it a nice little trim,
Yep.
made it look factory again.
Nice call on the spray that
little sprays.
kind of just sprayed that up
Done.
Yeah. We've done the spray enough.
Yep, little.
for sure.
Rust prevention spray.
Heck yeah.
I love it. Well, that's awesome. That's a nice little trick.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
all
we're
right.
going to town on a TJ, fixing the JK. Buggy will be back in the under the knife soon.
And that's a big knife, so you're trying to clear
Oh.
the plate.
Oh yeah,
We were
It's
talking
winter
about that.
time.
it's winter time. It's
so all the
building-
projects.
It is building time.
Yeah. Which we'll go ahead and prelude this because coming up later in the episode, we're going to talk a little bit about welding.
I got some new toys in the garage.
Ooh,
so
toys.
We'll talk about that.
Toys.
But right now, we are going to announce we have been picked up by a multimedia company that's going to be airing episodes of
Correct.
ours. So PowerTube TV, we're going to be on PowerTube TV.
Wow.
You
Our
can-
live shows will be on PowerTube TV.
as of right now, our live shows will not be. But
well, the recording
the
of
video
the
of our
show.
live
The
shows
finished
will be
published
Yes.
version.
Yes,
Yes.
will
Sorry.
be on there. At some point, maybe if we can get really good at going on air at a certain time, we could probably finagle
That's a problem.
808, not good enough.
Not
a,
the right
a,
time.
a live go with that. But they have been talking to me and wanting us on the platform for a while, and I just kept dragging my feet. Not intentionally, just life is crazy. So I'm glad that we are going to be with them, and the main website for that is watchpowertubetv.com, and you can view stuff there. But they're going to be on Roku, almost on every platform. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so we're excited to be doing that. It's going to be a few weeks before we get fully on, and they'll just be doing, in their normal rotation of their shows.
Mm-hmm.
Ours will be in that normal rotation, so that'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually on Roku TV, Apple TV,
Okay.
all those, digital platforms.
Sure. That's cool.
Yeah. So just want to throw that out there. Right now, I think it's on, on Fire TV right now.
Gotcha.
So Amazon Fire TV, and then Roku is coming next, and Apple TV. So it's exciting. More people will see us,
Cool.
which scares me.
That is a little scary.
Yeah, and it's fun because I got to meet Brian, who does their media
Right.
through a mutual friend, Dave, and it was good to kind of do that. And literally 2 years ago, this all started,
Okay.
but it's now official, and we'll be on soon.
That's pretty cool.
And it's crazy. I don't know who would think that people would want to watch us, but people do. We had a great episode last week, and you were on because it was about New Jersey, but the bigger picture is trails are closing everywhere.
That's really the core theme.
We're losing, mileage on our in our world. And so to kind of follow up on that, we had Dave Dempsey on the show last week, and he went down to the meeting talking about road closures in the Wharton State Forest and in New Jersey. And I know that you went down as well.
Yes.
It seemed grim from the outside.
It's really interesting when you dig into it, because at the surface you hear it, and it's a very polarizing topic.
Yeah.
Because the first thing you lead in with, especially when you're coming from our universe, is you're closing off access.
Yeah.
And that's just a knife. That kills you. So the way that they presented it, Dave, I had the pleasure of kind of getting to meet him in person. Very busy individual, very passionate about the topic down there. This is all the Jersey Pine Barrens. And the way that they presented it, and they being the DEP, they had 9 maps. This is a very methodical situation. 9 maps, each building upon the other.
Right.
Started out with the one you heard him talk about on the podcast last week, which was the geological map, the survey map. And then they built on that, like, hey, here is where, there are historical things. Hey, here is where people like to recreate. Hey, here is where there are wetlands, and so on and so forth. Bottom line is it translates into the end map, which looks a lot like the 2015 map that you heard him speak about, which is out of about, call it, between 400 and 500 miles of roads.
Right.
You're down to about 2 and change.
Wow. So it's a significant reduction.
It's a significant reduction, and most of that is predicated on the amalgamation. Again, this is the pitch.
That's a big word.
Yeah, big 50-cent word. Amalgamation of all of those maps that I was speaking about, and that's how they presented it.
Right.
And they had people there. It was a very well-run event, so I will give them credit for that. Doesn't change the outcome, is that this is not a done deal. That should be shared, but it is the proposed map.
Yep.
And that map is notably less than current. And that is the problem at hand.
So we did get an email from one of our listeners that went to that meeting, and I'll read that now. We got out to Batso Village this past Wednesday to learn more about what is proposed. Very informative labeling and mapping of the forest, but the end result is shocking. Wow. Reducing access roads and trails to only 200 miles for road legal vehicles. Their online timeline presents their story of how all this is played out, ranging from public surveys to town meetings and DEP studies from 2022. This doesn't set well with most who attended. We have until March 9th for public comments to be considered. So that's a pretty quick timeline. We cannot assume what we have today will be with us tomorrow. Our family has been all over this forest, from camping, canoeing, hiking, school trips, fishing, bow hunting, gun club, and wheeling. Thanks for having this on last week's podcast. It got me off my butt and out the door to get to the meeting. And that's from our friend Dave Desson in Maple Shade, New Jersey. Drives a 2021 JOU. And by the way, we saw Jason, but unfortunately didn't get to talk to him.
Jetty Jason.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
He got a picture of me. I'm like, ooh, I'm under surveillance.
We all were talking to each of the representatives. So he,
Yes.
Yep.
and then sent a picture of
There was
Jetty
very good
Jason.
engagement. It was very civil. It was very good. I had heard stories about some past altercations
Yeah.
that soured the pie, but very, very above board, very well conducted session.
Good.
Yep. So hopefully we can make some impact, and it won't be such. I mean, 200 is still a lot of mileage for roads and access,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're cutting that down from 500 or more, that's a big deal.
Yeah. So let me just take a quick minute and sort of share in a way, because we don't have that graphic. I actually thought to maybe send you something here to put up. There are a lot of big main roads, and you were with me down there, and so one of the little side comments was, "Oh, it's like a highway in sand."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So there are several main thoroughfares. Understand that a number of the individuals that are locals that live near there, as Dave was on the show, he lives right up against the forest. This is part of his commute. Like, instead of going out and around, it's right through.
So
So these are roads. Like, if anybody's not familiar with it, so it is a different flavor. It's not like I'm going through Moab to get to my work. No, this is a normal part of the fabric of that part of southern Jersey. By cutting off access there are a number of some of those offshoot roads that are legitimate roads. That's an important thing. Keying off Dave's comment, it's not trails, they are roads. But some of them, dead end, are not quite kept up.
Passable.
And those were all part of the maps. Maybe we can share out some links to people that are really interested in understanding this particular story. But those were some of the things that they plucked off of the map.
Right.
And kept many of the main thoroughfares open. But part of the joy or canoe access to rivers, which are some of those offshoots for recreating. And that is really the core. It's not, I want to wheel and drive around aimlessly.
Right.
I happen to use my four-wheel drive vehicle to access points of interest for camping, hiking. There was somebody that told me about, actually it was one of our buddies, Mr. Scott, who I bumped into down there. And he told me that he spoke to a woman who represents a group of, astrological observers.
Right.
And she's like, this is one of the few places we can go to not have light pollution.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And it's like, you don't realize the depth of recreating. And that is, just to share with the listeners, the heart of anybody really in any of these places that are fighting for their access.
So our thanks for you going down and representing us, for Dave Dempsey doing all the work he's done, and for Dave Desson for sending an email in. And so to that point, thank you, Dave, for sending in an email. We love to get those emails, so we're going to call out. Give us emails, ask us questions, show topics, anything you want to hear from us in the future. We'd love to hear from you and hear those. I know that we have a great topic of show your shop. So show us your shop. Send in photos.
I just sent you one.
I know. I've already. It's already ready. So
I'm sorry. Employees of the corporation are not eligible to win this prize.
Let's talk a little bit about.
I had to send it in.
Since we've called in for shops, I like the fact that you sent in shops, and as an example.
Yeah, I had to show you my shop.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that. I just threw up one of the photos.
Oh, geez. My shop is a small little 2-car garage. that I make work.
But you do a lot in that.
I
You
do.
do an amazing amount in that space.
I try to. I mean, there's a lot of toys that have been added to the shop, but yeah. So the main work area, which I'm standing in the front corner of the garage, that's my main bay that I pull everything in, work on my Jeep, work on every other Jeep under the sun
Yep.
that gets pulled in there and out of there. We got the beer fridge, we got the workbenches, we got the tools.
That's where the real work gets done.
Yeah,
That's
a
right,
lot
that's
of
right.
lot of work gets done in there. But yeah, it's a good little area, and soon to have it's got a whole new welding setup in there now on a nice welding cart, and
Good segue to
yeah.
a chat coming
that
up.
chat coming up, and there's gonna be a tubing bender
Oh.
making an appearance in there, and also a nice tube notcher. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be doing some
Fabrication.
some work.
I like it.
It's coming up on Reaper.
It does need some more banners hanging in it. I know we've got some.
I mean,
We took these banners out of there.
yeah, you took my
originally.
good.
Yeah.
You took the
Yep.
banners out of the
That's
garage.
right.
I'm sure David
We-
G
we
could
just
come
need-
up with some,
we just
some
need more.
banners.
Yeah,
More to hang in it. Actually, I have one for you.
we probably have a
Oh,
few.
there you
Yeah,
go.
actually, I know that I have a few. I have an Alpine banner at.
Okay, we can banner it up even more.
Yep.
But that's it's a working garage, Like
Yep.
I try to make a.
I still say if that dang post in the middle of the
I hate
entire
that
floor is
darn
like,
post.
like-
Yeah, because it's right. We open the door. It's
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, there is a large wooden post that sits
that's
in
right
the middle.
there in the middle, and it's like, oh, if
Ye-
this wasn't here, we could like
Yes,
get on that easier.
sits dead center in the middle of the garage, right where you open a passenger door, or like if you're backing in a driver door. Yeah, but it's 2 bays. Works well for me. 20 by 24 ish. So
We're getting that lovely picture of Kylo again.
Yeah. Where'd everybody go?
I don't know.
I don't know. Now we've got some multi ins. We got.
Oh,
Oh, did this thing give us some trouble again?
uh
That might have.
gonna be a good one.
But yeah, it's Dan says his shop is a parking spot in his
Well,
townhouse development.
Show us your parking spot.
Yeah.
It's your shop, and
your
your
shop.
shop could
Yeah,
be anything.
right, that's
Your
right.
shop could be anywhere.
Once
Yeah.
I get like a bunch of elementary school play product and junk, out
We're
of-
gonna show.
every minute I get closer to getting my situation reorganized and
Yep.
cleared up, ready to get into something. My wife beats me too, and is like, "Here's
Nope.
all the stuff for like this." And
I got another project
My girls,
for you.
I got twin girls that are turning 16, and here's their like, birthday party stuff. I'm like, "Oh my god, not in the garage!" She's like, "Well, where's it gonna go?" I'm like,
I don't know,
"Not in the
somewhere
garage."
else. Somewhere
Yeah.
else.
I've done a thing or two in your garage.
That's
good.
correct.
Yep.
We've had a couple garage parties. We're
That's
good
right.
for that.
Yeah.
We are.
Communal
Great
contributions.
Great garage parties.
All right. So since we've done that,
Mm-hmm.
I did put all the events that I know that I'm going to be at representing the podcast.
Wow, that's a lot of events, dude.
And
You're going to
you
be
know,
at all those?
Some of them,
That's great.
we
will be there.
We?
We.
yeah. So it's a busy year. So make sure to come see me. I'm going to try to have stickers at every single one of them to
I
give
hope
out.
so.
Maybe some other swag. Who knows?
And to start it off in March, we're going to be at Easter Jeep Safari.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be there.
Yeah.
I probably won't be there. And then April 24th to the 28th is Jeep Beach down in Daytona, Florida. May 3rd to the 5th, Over Sand Expo in Wildwood, New Jersey, put on by Blinker Fluid
And
Productions.
that's a
It's a
newer
brand new event this
event,
year.
right?
It's camping on the beach
I
in
can't
wait.
Wildwood, New
Crazy.
Jersey.
I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. There's going to be sand everywhere.
It,
that happens on beaches.
and this is one of those events that I'm probably the most excited about.
I'm
It's new,
Yeah.
and I know Jamie does amazing
He
stuff.
does.
He unbelievable. He and Allison, I've never seen anything more organized in my entire
Yep.
life. But this show's going to be great. Camping on the
I will be
beach.
there. You will be there. We all will be there.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
then
I'll be there. I don't know.
June 18th to the 19th, Bantam Jeep Festival in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's where it all started.
Yep.
Yep. We'll
It's
have
going to
to
be a
head
great
out there.
time out there again.
Yep.
July 12th to the 14th is New Jersey Jeep Invasion in Wildwood, New Jersey, once again put on by Blinker Fluid Productions. July 19th and 20th is PA Allbridge Jeep Fest out in Carlisle, Pennsylvania,
Yes.
which is always an amazing time. And then August 22nd to the 24th is Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. August 25th is Warren, Ride with Warren at Wind Rock Park
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
Oliver Springs, Tennessee. And then September 21st and 22nd is Fall New Jersey Jeep Invasion, once again put on by Blinker Fluid Productions.
Yes. I didn't list all the Bronco stuff and everything that I'll have to go to.
No, not allowed.
No.
We talked about this.
No.
Beginning of the show.
I didn't put that in, but I will be busy on those weekends.
If you start
as
doing
well.
that, we know the transformation is imminent. I
Yeah.
want independent suspension.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You want solid axles.
Solid axles, please.
Step away from the Bronco, sir. I know it's on
IFS.
38s, but back away.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting show season.
Yes,
for sure.
Yes, it will be.
I know that there'll be other things come up and go on that schedule, but this kind of the skeleton outline. If you have something that you would like to see on the event calendar,
It's coming
send
up.
it in. info@jeeplifepodcast.com. Send it in. We'll put it on the calendar. We may even try to make it. Who knows?
If it's close and local.
Well, we do have our local gig here at
Yes, we
Das
do have-
Fest. That's a little
yes.
later in the summer, but
Yes. We have a
that
bunch
is
of
out
different
there.
ones.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's cool.
Yeah,
So,
man.
Now the main topic.
Main topic.
I know nothing, so
By all means, I am not a professional. I don't know.
We just call him old Sparky.
I'm just old Sparky with a little welder. With
Zap,
a new
zap, zap,
with
zap.
a new welder
Correct.
that works a whole
Because
lot
in
better.
fairness, this was not a extravagant expenditure. It was a necessary one.
Very necessary.
Your old welder, old trusty busty, died.
Very much so. And it was a sad day. Very sad day.
The good news is the new one's a lot lighter and a lot more capable. and
Super light.
super sparky.
Yeah. So, we're going to start this off by talking a little bit about types of welding,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Types.
Types.
Did you know there's different types of welding, Terry?
There's good kinds and
Kin-
bad kinds.
I kind of knew,
Okay.
but I couldn't tell you. I know one kind. That's about it.
Gotcha. There is stick or arc welding.
Ooh.
There is MIG welding. There is MIG flux core welding.
Flux capacitor.
Flux capacitors. We were going to talk about electricity. And then there is TIG welding.
Oh.
Under the MIG welding genre, there is also a type of spool gun welding that is used for aluminum and stainless steel.
Okay.
It uses much smaller spools of welding wire because you usually don't use a lot of it when you're welding aluminum and stainless steel and other stuff, and there's usually special materials that need to be used when you're welding those.
It's not just any filler.
Yeah.
It's a specific
It's
filler.
stainless steel filler
Correct.
or
Right.
aluminum filler.
and that's not as cheap,
correct.
and you don't want to use as much.
Exactly. So to start off, arc or stick welding is using a long stick. Obviously, that's where it comes from, which is an electrode that usually has some type of coating on top of a center rod. That coating creates the shielding gas or flux that needs to shield that weld when you're making it, because when you heat up the metal to a melting point, which you create a puddle, it's called, you need to shield it from oxygen so oxidation doesn't happen instantaneously as it's cooling. Because if you don't have the shielding gas, oxygen will get in there quickly, creates iron oxide, and creates poor welds.
Mm.
So, no matter what, with all welding, you need some type of shielding gas, whether it's created by the actual additive that you are using to, weld with,
Yep.
or it is an additive as the gases
Like legit gas just
that you
blowing
added.
out
Yes.
the tip.
So then we're going to move into flux core welding, which is kind of the basis of MIG welding. It uses a 035 style thickness or 030 thickness of wire that comes out of a MIG machine. That wire has a flux in it. That's what creates your shielding gas. And this is kind of like the universal. Weld any kind of metal you can weld. Thick
That's
stuff.
your good run of the mill, like do it yourselfer.
Absolutely. You know, you got to create a couple
all the way
tacks.
up to pro level. Pros are still using the
Pros really don't use
No?
flux core.
Okay.
They're going to use arc stick. They use a
Okay.
lot of that, or they use a standard MIG, which the standard MIG uses a regular steel wire that has a coating on it, just to prevent it from,
But the
oxidizing.
gas.
And then it uses a gas additive.
I
so
guess
you
that's
have
where
a
I was
tank.
going was
Yes.
wire and gas.
Wire and
MIG.
gas. Yes.
Metal inert gas welding.
Yes.
I just looked that up.
Okay.
Now
I just
stick,
wanted to contribute in some way.
there you go. Now stick I think has kind of a persona of being a little sparky and
It's
splatty.
sparky. It's dirty usually.
It's like the quick and dirt.
It
It'd
is.
be the equivalent of the way you rattled everything off. Stick it. You started with stick. That's kind of your quick, dirty,
But it's
entry level.
strong. Just as
Strong.
strong as anything.
But
You can do it anywhere.
right, exactly.
It is a universal. You're out on
if
the
you got power, you're on it.
pipeline and you need to weld your gas pipe back
Sure.
together, you're using stick arc.
Yep.
Usually.
But then you get into MIG,
And
and
then you
it's
get
a
into
little
MIG.
cleaner.
It gets a
Little
lot
tighter.
cleaner. You got to make sure your
Lot more
surfaces are a
control.
lot cleaner. Obviously, all welding, you need to make sure your surfaces are super clean. And then we're going to get into TIG welding, which TIG welding uses a tungsten tipped electrode that you have part of a gun or a welding stick that you obviously use a foot pedal to control the voltage
Mhm.
of your welding, and you use that with a filler, which is an actual
dabbing that in
you're
separate.
dabbing that's
It's a two-handed weld technique.
correct. So
Yeah.
And that's
that
skill and tricky.
very skilled art trade.
You could weld two tin cans together if
You
you know what
could.
you're doing.
if you know what you're doing.
Mm.
So TIG is the like
The-
cream of the crop,
the je
top
ne
of
sais
the
quoi.
line. Yeah. And it takes a lot of practice to get good at it.
Because it's a foot pedal, it's voltage, it's frequency.
It's
That's
there's
the two
frequency.
variables
Yes.
on the power supply.
Yes.
You're dabbing in the puddle
You got to add
and
yeah.
add as needed, and you need to work that tungsten electrode back and
Yep.
forth.
A lot of aluminum is TIG welded. It's usually a very non-porous weld too. So it's good for confinement tanks and stuff like that.
Mm.
All the high-end stuff.
Yes. And really pretty exhausts.
Yes.
So.
Done well.
Yes.
It's art.
Yes. So, kind of talking about different welding in the off-roading industry, most of your off-road trail fix stuff, you're going to be using a stick or arc weld. And like some of the examples out there is like the Carnage welder, or the welders in the box kind of deal.
Yep.
Or there's a couple different units that you can have hard mounted on your vehicle. That's all going to be arc or stick welding. It's very down and dirty. You can do it anywhere kind of deal.
Yep.
And you throw a pair of jumper cables in your Jeep and get two 12-volt batteries, hook them in parallel, and you can weld with it.
Yeah. All right.
Like, you just negative, positive, hook it up to the metal, and you're good to go.
All right.
If you have a few sticks of...
Right.
And a couple jumper cables, you can just make that work.
You can.
When in doubt,
Yes.
weld yourself out.
And then there's some more higher-end ones that are like a MIG flux core welder that you can have out on the trail. In the garage, most of the welding that's going to be happening is a MIG welder, MIG gas,
Or
usually.
multi-process.
A multi-process. and that is going to be a lot cleaner of welding. I was using FluxCore for a very long time. FluxCore is very spattery. It doesn't look as clean. When you get into, gas shielded MIG, it gets really a lot cleaner, a lot nicer. Everything looks a lot better. And then there is a lot of TIG starting to sweep the off-roading industry.
Okay.
It's strong. It's
Very controlled.
Did I mention it's very strong?
Yeah.
And it's very controlled.
Very controlled. It looks really nice. And yeah, it's the top end guys are using all kind of
Right.
TIG welded cages.
And it is
this
skill.
And that. Yes, very
Everything
skilled.
is a build of skill. Like, you don't jump into TIG. And I know I did some research looking at, you talked about multi-process as being an option out there.
Yes.
I think everybody sees like the Harbor Freight deals, you get these multi-process, MIG, TIG, everything. The one thing that you find is the unit that is built to do what it does it pretty well even at a lower price point.
Yep.
When you start getting a lower price point and it goes, look, I'm a jack of all trades. It's like, yes, master of none. So like TIG really needs the foot pedal, the voltage control. You need to be able to work the hot, cold, and those units won't have that. The lower price points aren't going to have what a high-end TIG, dedicated TIG does.
Correct.
The unit you got for the MIG
Correct.
impressed me because it looked like it really was designed thoughtfully at a modest middle price point.
Yep.
To do a very nice job for what it was designed to do.
Yes. So I picked up the Eastwood MIG 180. So that is a MIG machine. It does flux core and gas, and it is a 180 amp machine, and it runs up to 26 volts. Obviously, you're not going to top it out that much, but it'll weld anything. It welds up to 5/16. It does it.
It's pretty south.
Yeah, reasonably.
It's south of like quarter inch.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be welding, 5/16
I'm not
quarter
building
inch
the
plate.
Titanic
No,
with
we're
this
not.
thing.
We're not building Titanic. So it does really well for everything that I need to do in my garage. And I upgraded from FluxCore to gas. So I am using a argon CO2 mix. So it's 75% argon, 25% compressed CO2. And it's really nice. It runs I have the regulator all set up. I did my research and I went through and I needed to figure out like what is my CFM, where does it operate, what's an average rate, how much is this going to flow. I went to the local welding store. I got schooled.
Talk to them.
Yep, I got schooled on some of the tanks and what sizes I would need. So I purchased an 80 cubic foot tank. I don't know well, I mean, I do know what that means.
Yeah.
It's 80 cubic feet of compressed gas.
Don't mix that up with your power tank. 'Cause
No.
argon in the tires is going to be like really expensive.
It will get really expensive, but I just got to make sure I don't mix it up with my nitrogen tank.
Yeah.
They are two different sizes, though. So it really is. Let me tell you, I started messing around with it in the garage, just welding some scrap metals together, this, that, and the other thing. And it is a huge, huge improvement going from FluxCore to a MIG machine.
Oh, okay.
It is night and day. After it was pretty much like a pick up and use kind of deal.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't much. There's still a little adaptation that needs to happen, but it's a super simple machine. They have really nice chart on the side to kind of give you a start point of
what
your voltage,
guidelines are
your
for the knobs.
Yep, your inches per minute. What do you need to be running at? It included a 2-pound spool of wire already, so that was really nice. And some of the other features that one of the newest things that's coming, not newest, but the newer machines are being able to run on 110.
Right.
So, and
don't
we
need a
talked.
Came with an
220.
adapter because it
Yes.
normally has like a dryer plug on the end of
Yes,
it.
it does have
But it came with an adapter to run that into a regular 110.
Yep. So you can plug it in your normal wall outlet. I'm gonna say right off the bat, you're not welding 1/4-inch plate
Heck no.
with 110. That doesn't happen.
I wouldn't think it would get hot enough.
No, but
and
you
penetrate enough.
Yeah, you can get
It's
away
gonna
with
work
doing
hard to try to generate the amps out of that.
Yep.
Yep.
You can get away with doing like auto body work and thin, 16, 18 gauge,
Tacks.
all the way up probably to 12 gauge. You can get away with at 110.
It was about like maybe a third, somewhere between a third and a half of that chart.
That chart, it
was
kind
like
of
your
dies
110,
off.
and then the full amperage
Yeah.
was the heavier gauges. Or the other part of that is your lighter gauges, the unit is running at like 60% duty cycle. It's not maxed out trying to do light gauge mild steel.
Mhm.
It's breathing easy,
Absolutely.
running downhill like
Yep.
when you're running on 220.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I may run it on 110 just to see what it
Just
does
to
and
see
see
how
how
it's
it works. Not necessarily needed though. I have 220 out in the garage. I am very excited to see what I can, use it for.
Yep.
And then, some of the other things that I wanted to cover in this topic also is, as a first-time welder or somebody wanting to get into this, as a hobby.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
hobby
yeah.
for me. It's
Yep.
nothing,
You are
You-
not a professional.
I am not a professional. But unfortunately, you need to go out and buy a welding machine. Like, it's not something that you can willy-nilly kind of get away with. You need to have space to be able to do it.
Yes.
I think you need to have a clean space to be able to do it, that you can get dirty and leave dirty, because welding is not a clean process.
No.
Is there certain stuff you need with you? Like what?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So some of the items, equipment-wise, that you should have is obviously you need a welding mask.
Yes.
You need a auto-changing welding mask. I think they're the new...
Sunglasses ain't going to cut it.
Regular sunglasses do not cut it. This is, you need the lenses that you can look at the sun with,
Yep.
because that's basically what it's creating
right.
when you weld.
And
So
a ton of UV.
yeah. So I would say a welding mask is key. Another thing that go along with your welding mask, and this is an interesting little tip that I learned over time, is get a flashlight that attaches to your welding mask.
Oh.
Because usually you're up somewhere, you're underneath something, this, that, and the other thing, and you can't see, and there's no light. And when you're auto-changing welding masks, you can go to Harbor Freight and get one for fairly reasonably priced.
Yep.
But it's like a dark green that you look through.
Yeah.
It's almost like a sunglass.
Mhm.
But with that, the flashlight on the side, it helps, or some type of light really helps. I have it mounted right to the side of my welding mask, and it's great.
Because when it's darkened, you don't necessarily able
don't-
to see all the detail
No.
Right.
in what's in front
You're
of you.
looking at a puddle.
Yes.
Right.
You're looking at
I know
a
the
very
line
minute
I'm
area.
It's lit by the
Yes.
sun,
Yes.
and you're working that puddle.
Yes.
Yep.
And then I would say the next biggest thing is a set of really good gloves.
Yeah.
Welding gloves, they make them. They're specific. MIG gloves, TIG gloves, regular old, just
Is there
heavy
something
duty.
special about them that
The feel, the dexterity you
they're-
have through them,
Right.
the material changes from MIG to TIG.
Oh, interesting.
So I would just say pick up a good set of gloves, and then some of the other tools. You need a grinder, you need a good wire wheel, you need a good
multiple wire wheels?
Yep, multiple wire wheels, sanding pads, this, that, and the other thing to keep your work area clean. I would say a good set of welding pliers. So they are a specific set of
Yep.
pliers for welding. They are set up in a
Mhm.
specific way. It gives you a 1/4-inch cut on the end of the end of the gun and everything like that. So I would say that's kind of your basics. Obviously, you need a welder. You can get away with flux core on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like beyond a lot of stuff.
Gas is like
gas
that
is the next level.
That next like intermediate level up.
You don't need to go out and buy a tank and a MIG welder.
You
and
wanted to
everything.
make that
I
investment because you
needed-
knew you were going
yes.
into some projects.
I needed to make that investment. I need to up my game on that side of things. And then I would say just have fun with it. You
Yeah.
know, it's new, it's something different. You're not going to be good at it your first time.
Yeah.
Or your
And-
5th time.
Or your 5th time or your 10th time. Or, I still weld.
Or intermediately you do a
Yeah,
project that's like,
and you're like, oh, that looks like crap, and you're grinding it out and putting a new one in there. Or you
double ups. And
or you get your first experience of welding rust, and you think it's good metal, and then all of a sudden it starts blowing out from you. And you got to just keep welding and adding
Fill,
and
fill,
adding and
fill,
fill
fill.
and fill. And then all of a sudden you're like, you have a giant glob, and welding rust is awful.
Yeah.
Prep. Discover the rust.
Yeah.
Uncover the rust.
It's good luck still.
Discover and uncover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So what are some of the projects that you've done welding wise? Where
Oh, geez. So I started out welding when I was like 13 years old.
yeah.
We bought an old 3-wheeled golf cart that had all the battery trays rusted out of it. So that was the project. We went and got some angle iron, and I started learning to weld on the battery trays. So I welded all new battery trays in this golf cart when I was like 13. And then it's just kind of progressed over like small little projects. I did frame plating on the buggy. I've done some small tube welding, this, that, and the other thing. I've done welding on axles, all kinds of different welding brackets on, suspension brackets, truss. There's a lot of
All
different
over.
things. Yeah.
Backup
Yeah.
plates, filling in body panels.
Yeah.
You did that on the LJ. You had
Yeah, I
that
did
little,
body
that
work,
little
body
plate
panels.
to back that up because it was like a little janky, a little too much for Bondo.
Yeah.
You tacked that in there and then went over it. So
I've welded a
sometimes
lot
it's
of
just
different
that little stuff.
thicknesses. I have not
Yep.
welded aluminum yet. I have not welded stainless steel.
Should get some plates, some aluminum, and
Yeah,
just see
I
how
wanna
that
just
goes.
play around with it.
So
Oh, that's awesome.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So when you're doing like flux core, you get the you got to have the slag hammer and like kind of chip that off and blow that off the top and wire brush it.
So that's actually
You-
more through stick. You
Oh,
get
okay.
that
Is it
like
stick
crust
Not yes.
where
right.
you have the hammer. Yeah, weld
You
hammer.
don't really get that with the gas. It's
You don't-
clean.
Yes, it's very clean with the.
That's like a perk. That's a value
Correct.
prop to me.
Yes.
It's like there's not a post cleanup process.
but when you hit
come
it with
off
that
of it,
hammer off the, you
looks
get that
nice.
slag off. That's your weld
Right.
underneath. The,
But I
the
mean,
slag
it,
is
it
nothing.
does save but it does save that step. You come off with a finished weld. It is what you see.
Correct.
You get what you get.
You get what you get, and you put some paint
it's
on it,
not a
make sure it doesn't
surprise.
rust.
There you go.
Yep.
Nice.
Very nice.
Well, that's awesome. I know that there's more to welding.
Oh, there's beyond a lot.
we can go.
There are 30, 40-year journeymen that have done
Yeah.
it their whole career doing tanks and
Yeah, this is
everything,
just a little.
pipelines, and it's like, wow.
I
There's
like
some crazy stuff out
little
there.
primer, if you will,
Yep.
for welding.
For
amazing.
off-road concerns.
Off-road, fix it.
Awesome.
I've welded track bars. I've welded bracketry. I've welded axle tubes. I've welded housings. I've welded trusses.
What do you think the
Frame
most common is? Is
bracing.
it trussing out? Like, if you think about all the stuff that I know people fab out, saying like a cage or something like that's a lot. It seems it's
I feel like
I have
truss,
axles and moving because I'm going to go to a long arm kit. I'm going to do
truss and brackets.
truss and brackets and,
That's your
and
common
other like
frame
hookup spots
bracing,
or
yeah.
anchor points. You got those really cool like tabs.
Well, yeah, zip tie tabs that are like.
They're really
dumb
little, but
simple.
it's just like for convenience. So sometimes if you're doing that for the buggy,
Yep.
you wouldn't necessarily. I don't think to do that on a normal road
No
vehicle
road
per
vehicle,
se.
yeah, but like
But you think about like they sold that whole little set of tear
25
off tabs.
tabs that
so
are
Terry, they were
weld-on zip
just-
tie tabs.
Nice.
They're
They're
out of a
little
plate
tabs that you
this
put them wherever
big.
you want.
Yeah.
You just start breaking them out and you use them. They're
That's
great.
cool. Right. Yep.
Wire management.
I love
Very
it.
cool.
Cable management.
Cable
Everybody
management.
needs it.
Correct.
Man, that's awesome. If you have a topic you'd like for us to go through, make sure to send it in. Where can people find us and send that stuff into?
Well, you've already found us, so tell a friend, first of all. And if you
Yeah.
need to look and find more of our websites, head over to Google, search the
Click
Jeep Life.
like, click subscribe, click I love you guys, email
You got-
these guys, everything.
You got to click it all. So make sure you search Jeep Life Podcast on Google. You're going to get hooked up with our YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook. We have it all. And if you would like to support the podcast in any more way, you can head over to our Patreon website and support the podcast in $3, $5, or $10 monetary donation. And that is a monthly donation to the podcast. And that really helps out a long way.
It really does. I'm blown away by the information. I'm so thankful that you took the time out of your schedule to go kind of represent everybody in the
it's important.
Wednesday. I appreciate that, and all the feedback and everybody doing their job. And you know what? Let's call it a day.
Heck yeah.
Our thanks to everyone that showed up and watched us online live, either through Facebook or YouTube. We do that every time we record. And apparently now this feed is going to go somewhere else and,
Very cool.
and be
Very
seen
interesting.
other places. So, our thanks to you guys. And, for Jetty Jason, Break It Bill, I'm Jeep and Terry, and here's a big Jeep wave to you, everybody.